These are my recent cacti acquisition. In this video, I'd like to show you how I repot these cacti, the type of pot and soil mix I use. Hello there, my name is Liz, a self-confessed succulent addict. Welcome to my channel, Growing Succulents. First thing I'm going to be doing is mix up a soil for my cactus. So I've got my master succulent soil mix here and also some granite. So this is my cactus mix that I use. So that's very gritty. So the very first one I've got is Mamilaria Pico Compacta. So this is beautiful cluster. Also it's got spikes but quite soft. Spineless Mamilaria growing 6 centimeter across with numerous offsets forming a tight cluster up to 15 centimeter high over many years. Offsets can easily be removed but may leave scars. So if I do want to propagate this one, it's just a matter of removing the heads and let it dry up for a couple of weeks and then put it on the soil. Let it do its natural thing to grow roots and reach down into the soil of the pot. So that's what I do with them. And I do that during the warmer months. So from spring and all through summer. In tropical places, you can basically do it all year round. But here in Canberra, we're considered zone 9. And so we have to be mindful of the winter cold months because they can easily rot. I can see that there's a few babies forming down inside there. Baby growing underneath. And if I do chose to remove this one and also probably this one, I'm going to be doing that during spring or in summer. The bowl also I'm using, it's got a big area so to allow for the plants to have room to grow. I don't really want to repot this after a year, so this is going to stay in this pot for at least 3 years. And it's about 5 inches deep, and I like the way it sort of tapers down. So the roots can grow up the top, but then down in the bottom, they can be limited to, or basically when I water it, it'll be less chance of rotting. So I'm just gonna use one of my cut up lace curtains. You can use anything at your disposal. The goal is to use something cheap, and also to keep that in place, we'll put some rocks. In this case, big pieces of granite for me, because we are now at the last couple of weeks of autumn. So winter is here. And so what I like to do is not to disturb the roots as much as possible. I could leave this in this pot until springtime, but that's going to be 3 months away. So the plant has got lots of roots. Look at that. So that's only root disturbance. So as much as possible, I don't want to touch the root because they will just do their own thing. So I'm just going to put this here like so. And my pot doesn't have a front and a back face. Hang on, wait a minute. Doesn't matter. So I'm just looking for a pretty angle, basically. Hang on. My lace curtain has moved. So now, so the pot is sort of open. I prefer it open so that way it can have a lot of air circulation. That's good enough. And I'll put some soil in the bottom, and I'll put this one in here, just sort of the level of the pot. Don't want to be over it because I still need to put some dressing on top. Now tap, 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 tap. Now, I got some dirt on her face. Instead of scraping it, we're gonna blow it all out. There you go. Got a little blower. This is actually for ear irrigation. So you put water in it and you flush your ear or something. But anyway, and I think this is a really good toy to use for puffing them out. Okay, so all that soil anyway will just go down once I water it. So that's about it. So we got one down. our Mamilaria Pico Compacta done. Now, watering wise, because my soil is fairly dry and the soil of this one is also dry, and this is very important, the temperature. Our temperature at the moment is actually still quite warm. So we get 18, 19 degrees max during the day, that's Celsius, and minimum of nothing below 2 degrees for the next week. So I could still give this a little bit of drink, and that would give it enough time to dry up so that when winter comes, it's not going to rot. Or if I say, for example, if I potted this up at the end of autumn, which is in a couple of weeks time, and that will be well and truly in winter, then I would not water this until basically springtime. And that means it will be at least 3 months away. So this one came with no label, and I only paid $6.45. And it's a cluster. Look at all those babies there. And this cactus doesn't have any, well, it's got spikes like little beetle. It looks like little beetle in it. Like a very interesting plant. I love plants like this. And it looks scary, but it's not. So it's like people. There's some people who look scary like I am, but I'm not scary at all. I'm the gentlest, kindest person you'll probably ever meet in your life, and maybe one of the nicest. Okay, so now anyway, this one now, so hard to say this, Salcorebutia arenacea. Now this one is interesting. So this one's got a name, and the other one doesn't have a name, but they look very similar. So one is sort of got a whitish tone, or the thorns are sort of flatter. And then this one is even, I can still sort of feel a little bit of spikes sort of protruding out. But I would say that maybe this one with no name, the only label it came with, it says cactus, and that's all. Maybe it's the same, either this is a hybrid, because I couldn't find anything online, and maybe this one is exactly, the two of them exactly the same. But anyway, this one also has got that interesting head. So it's got one plant, it's a Siamese plant. Maybe a crested form or a Siamese twin. But anyway, that's the reason why I bought it. But anyway, it's very interesting plant. So now we're gonna pot this up. Now the one with a lot of babies, I'm gonna put in a bigger pot, so which is quite deep. Look how it bellows out. That way it'll have room for that to grow. Now this other one, I'm using a goblet. The goblet's got hole as well. So all my pots got holes. You gotta put holes. So this one I can't drill a hole straight through because look at that. So this one goes here and that one goes there. This one as well, I'll just use my cactus mix and put a little bit of soil down in the bottom. And this one now, we squeeze the pot just slightly because it's actually quite tight. Now we'll remove it gently. Again, this one is best potted up in the warmer months. Look at the roots. See how deep the roots of this one is? And this is the reason why I picked that deeper pot. And also because it's got clusters. So this will need a lot more nutrients. Oh, look at that. Look at the babies. So many babies. Can you see? There's a lot of babies in there. So I'm just gonna slightly expose the baby. And that's it. I'm not gonna do too much in here. So that's sort of one of the main roots as well. I don't really want to touch that. And I'll expose the babies, giving them room to grow. There you go. Just guiding it with my finger so I don't get their faces dirty, but it doesn't matter. We got a puffer and our soil is fairly dry. So this is, see, it's all, there's a little bit of moisture, but it's more on the dry side than on the wet side. That one's done. Tap, tap, tap again. So this one didn't come with a hole as well, so I have to drill holes on just about all my pot that I use. I'm just going to leave it next to the other one, so it can also be a Salcorebutia. 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 Okay, she's singing opera now. I wasn't going to show you this just so I can save some time on the length of the video, but this is most interesting. So just like the other one, it also got basically a codex in the bottom. Look at that. So the other one is via taproot, a really thick, fat taproot, but this one is a codex in the bottom where it stores its water. So basically this can go without water for a very long time. And also the roots, I try to remove as much of the sand because I don't really like them. And so I'm using my cactus mix. Put some in the bottom first and the roots can sit there. And fill them up. Buttercup. There you go. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. It's important to tap it because the soil will go down when watered. So depending on your soil mix as well, but my soil mix goes down a lot because I've got coconut coir in it. The coir sort of compresses as you water it, goes down. Now I can put some top dressing. There you go. That's actually gorgeous plant, isn't it? I love it. I don't know why I love all these mutated plants, but to me they are beautiful in my eyes. Under protected, partially shaded position, so which means you can't expose them to rain basically, but I do. So anyway, but these ones will be in my covered area. I still got these two here which needs to be potted up. So these ones are pretty straightforward. This came with no name, and the closest I could find is for this one is Copiapoa because of the way it looks. It's got sort of a satiny sheen on it. And then this one is got long spikes, and look it up, it looks like Untitled Cactus. A couple of months ago I bought this Copiapoa hypergea or gaia. It colored up so beautifully. Since I got it, I watered it once, but I haven't watered it since. So the soil is very, very dry and the plant is started to sink in and go down. So probably looking for water. I think it needs to be watered. But anyway, so in line of having this Copiapoa, I bought two more. So these ones did not come with names. So I have to go look online and give them temporary names. So whether this is a Copiapoa cinerea or a Untitled Cactus, I'm not sure, but I have to give it a name or else it's gonna get lost in my mix there. So this one, I got this one actually a couple of months ago. End of January is when I got these plants and I did not water it. And that's why they have been reducing themselves. They're getting skinnier and skinnier and smaller. So this one, I think it's time to water them. Now this one, I don't know the soil mix, but on top that is zeolite. So zeolite, we can put that into the mix. There you go. And underneath that is okay, also sandy. So which is actually not too bad, but see, you can see that the roots is very small. So it needs to be watered, and I'm just wondering, they're soft underneath. So this really needs, look at that. So that poor thing, look what I've done to it. When I got it, it was already small, and then I just made it smaller. So I'm not gonna play with the roots that much, but I want to remove that bark there. So this one, I really don't want to put all that bark with it because that's not good for the cactus. They don't seem to like those barky things. So I should really sieve the soil anyway and get rid of the barkiness, not good for the cactusness. So anyway, and the pot I'm going to be using is something a little bit on the deeper side. That way they can live here for a long time. Now this one now, I'm not going to use this one because I need to sieve that. I have to take it at the back where lots of things happen and you don't see it. But anyway, we are going to put some this and that, and also I've got two of them. There you go. So this one for that one, and these are the ones. So exactly the same mug. Okay, so it also has holes. So I put a hole in it. So this was actually Haworthia before, used to live here, and now I transplanted the Haworthia a few days ago. So I'm not going to use the soil. I need to sieve that first. And we are just going to put straight on our cactus mix. And there you go. There you go. Okay, tap tap. We're doing a tap tap again. We do our tap dancing. Okay, so I'm gonna put my label at the back that says Copiapoa Ceneria. Whether it is or isn't, it doesn't matter. But anyway, it's a cactus. And then so now I'll do the same with the other one. There you go. But this one now, I'm actually going to drown this because that's really, really dry. And I have a grow light, so I'm going to bring it inside where my grow light is. But if you haven't got a grow light and you have a plant that's got the same potting requirements as this one, then what you can do is water it and leave it indoors. Don't leave it outside because indoors is still warmer compared to outdoors if you live in an area wherein you're experiencing autumn right now. But if you're on the northern hemisphere, I think it's springtime for you, but anyway, and it's almost at the end of your spring. So you can actually repot this with no problem and leave it outside. But for us who lives in the southern hemisphere, if you live in Sydney, actually it's only in Canberra here in Australia, but if you live somewhere in the tropics here in Australia, then you can pot away and water away to your heart's content. Now, as long as you let the soil dry up first, like this one, and then of course you can water it. So this one, I'll water it and then keep it under the grow light so it will dry up much, much faster. These are now my newly potted cacti. I will leave this for a few days to adjust to the new environment before I water them. I will be doing a separate video on how to water cactus. That way it will be an easy video to search for those who would like to know how to water their cactus. Thank you so much for watching and hope I'll see you on the next video.